So you've seen sellers with this cool scratched out price, driving urgency and conversion. You've seen them answering questions as their own brand, as the seller on their listings, reducing customer doubt and boosting trust. You've seen their catchy bullet point copy, but you just can't seem to work these things out for your own product. Well, you're in luck, because by the end of this video, you'll be ready to tackle all three of those things and take your listing to the next level, so long as you drop a quick like. Number 1, this is to get the cool scratched out price. This is actually leveraging something called the list price. List price is also known as MSRP, or manufacturer's suggested retail price. And in layman's terms, what that means is it's just the official price that the product should be sold for, according to the manufacturer. But on your product in Seller Central, you can see this surprisingly confusing multitude of price types. This is all for your one listing under the offer tab. And here is a quick breakdown. Your standard price, and this is your listing's most fundamental price. It is your normal price, but we're going to refer to it as standard price, as Amazon does. And here it's set for $44.95, and that will be the sell price on the listing and the amount customers will pay to buy your product, provided we don't add any other price types here. And by the way, one easy telltale here is this asterisk. That means it's required, and of course, only the most fundamental price would be required. So you can rest assured this is your listing's normal price. Then we get to the sale price. This is a temporary sale price you can set for your listing. And you can see all three of these inputs actually highlighted once when you click on the sale price. That's because you need to set a sale start date and sale end date, indicating the dates that the sale price will begin and stop, overriding that standard price. And here is an example of how this would look. On the front of the listing, it will say limited time deal, and clicking through it would show this, where the seller's standard price is $49.99 and they are running a sale price of $42.49, with the relative savings between those two prices shown below. And then we get to the list price. This is what we're focusing on. Again, this is your MSRP, and it should always be set to equal or more than your standard price. Otherwise, Amazon may think you're overcharging customers on their website. They always want to give the best price to their customers. And on the right-hand side, you can see Amazon provides a clickable statement to set list price equal to standard price, currently $44.95. And if we hover over this question mark icon, it says you can set the list price the same as your standard price. In the future, your listing could show a discount on this value if it passes required criteria. And if you set this up correctly, here's an example of how this would look. The seller's standard price is now set to $29.90 and the list price to $39.99. Amazon calculates how much lower the standard price is compared to the list price and prominently displays this percentage here, being minus 25% in this case, saying customers will save 25% compared to the list price, the normal MSRP. And this cool scratched out list price emphasizes that your standard price is a good deal and lower than what is recommended for retail. And this of course boosts conversion, not only because it's a good deal, but also because although it doesn't say it, it appears time sensitive, as though it's going to go up in price soon, and that creates urgency and drives customers to purchase more quickly. But there's one caveat here. If you've just gone and set the list price to a higher price than your standard price and you're wondering, why don't I have the scratched out price? That's because it only shows if you, in Amazon's words, have recently made or intend to make substantial sales at this list price. Now, substantial is not much to go off of here, but Amazon does say this regarding the list price. Amazon will only display a list price if the product has been purchased by customers on Amazon or offered by other retailers at or above the list price in the past 90 days. That's for non-seasonal products. It's 180 days for seasonal products. And another loose guide here that I found is a different reference price, which is called the was price, as you can see here. And this is determined using the 90-day median price paid by customers for the product on Amazon. Amazon also excludes the prices paid by customers during limited time deals that you may have run in that time period. Now, please take this with a pinch of salt, but putting all of that together, I would assume that you would need to sell at that higher price using your standard price for at least 30 days before this is actually going to work. So let's say you currently sell your product for a $35 standard price and you want a scratched out list price of $40 above that. Well, if you haven't sold at a higher price than your standard price, $35, then you would need to slowly raise your standard price over time to make sales at $40. Then you would set your list price also to $40, matching that. And I would continue to sell them matching like that for at least 30 days. And then you are going to lower your standard price slightly. I would personally say you've got to do at least 5% lower and then see what happens, whether or not that scratch out does appear. And the reason that I say at least 5% lower is because we're unsure of the exact amount of how much lower you need to go. But as you can see here, they can render the scratch out price for under 10% lower. And so overall, my assumption here is that your new standard price needs to be at least 5% lower than the list price. And since I touched on raising your standard price, remember that you never want to just raise your standard price significantly and in a really short amount of time, because if you don't make sales at that new price level, Amazon may think that you're overcharging customers and you could lose the buy box. So always make incremental changes such as $1 increments and do this over a period. So for example, $1 increments every 2 to 3 days, ensuring you're making sales at each new price level. And you can learn more about reference prices on Amazon at the link in the description below. But that is point 1. And I do hope that you understand all the prices now and how you can work towards creating that cool scratched out price. Number 2, answer customer questions as your brand, even with video. Now, one great way that you can reduce doubt amongst your customers and boost conversion is by answering questions that are posted on your listing in the Q&A section. Even better though, and something I've seen used very well recently, is to actually answer these questions with video answers. And here's a quick example. You can see this used well here. This will drive a lot more engagement on your listing, especially as customers see these videos on their way to the review section. And seeing is believing. So this could also help you negate some of the negative impact of more negative reviews, perhaps even unfair reviews, because you can show the product in great detail regarding those aspects. And the very cool thing here is they don't need to be produced to a high standard. You can do them on your smartphone. First, obviously, you will need to get questions from customers on your listing. Then you would record a short video answering those, and then you can upload your video answer. And there are 2 primary ways that you can answer a customer's question as the seller, as your brand. That's going to be very important, as you'll see in a moment. The first and simplest way is when you receive an email notification a question has come in on your listing. Then you simply follow the link, log in using your Seller Central details, and then you can answer that question. And to boost your chances of actually getting those email notifications, go to your settings in Seller Central, followed by notification preferences. Then ensure that business updates as well as buyer messages are enabled for your email address. But there is a second way, and here you first want to ensure you're logged out of any separate personal Amazon customer accounts that you have. You then log in to your Seller Central account, click through to your product listing on Amazon from Seller Central from the Manage Inventory page. Once on your listing, scroll to the questions and answers area. Click the clickable question that you would like to answer. Then you can answer the question, and here you can answer it with a video answer. Simply click the upload icon and select the video you made from your device. And the questions can be answered by you, the seller, but they can also be answered by other customers who think they are experts in Amazon's words regarding that product. But when you as the seller answer the question, Amazon marks those questions with your brand name and a little seller badge, as you can see here. And particularly if this is a video answer, this really adds a personal touch, and it could ward off some of the negative reviews, as customers see you or even your team as human beings, not just a faceless brand. And sometimes I wish we had a little badge that said subscriber next to viewer names on YouTube. Only half of you who watch these videos are subscribed. So please do subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos. But back to the Amazon Q&As. In order for you to be able to answer questions like this, you actually need to have spent at least $50 on Amazon.com using your business's Amazon account. That is the same email as your Seller Central login in the past 12 months. And that same rule applies for leaving ratings and reviews, as well as doing helpful votes. But if any of you, for example, are non-US based, selling in the US, and you wonder why you can't take those actions, that is why. I'm also going to link another link for you on the community guidelines if you do want to read up more on that. And number 3, build breathtaking bullets. Now, we've touched on emphasizing the benefit in the front of the bullet point before the hyphen. And after the hyphen, we talk about evidence and facts with features of that product, which result in that benefit, which we put at the front of the bullet. And just quickly, while we are covering this, we do provide a full template on how to build out your entire listing in this comprehensive listing builder. And you can grab that at the link in the description. It's also absolutely free. But you do want to put the benefit first because that's more emotional. It connects more with your customers than facts or features. However, recently I learned of taking it one step further than just the benefit at the front of the bullet. But I want you to think of this a bit like a pyramid. And it's a bit like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the very bottom, you have your base product. Then one level up, you have your product's unique features. One level up, those result in user benefits. But then we can actually add another level here, and that is user's desired state. In other words, the state that the customer desires to be in. So it's taking it a step further than benefits. Benefits are good, but what do they help the customer achieve? What's that bigger picture? And this makes sense because although the benefit is valuable and something users want, what they really want is what the benefit allows them to achieve, whether that's minimizing that pain or achieving a certain goal. So here is an example. So within these bullet points, let's look at the great taste one. So I would change the beginning of this one to enjoy before every session. Why? Because that's going to overcome a pain point, which if you've ever taken like a pre-workout, some of them taste terrible. So we are already putting the customer in that state of you're going to enjoy this every day. It's the one you're going to enjoy. It's not like those other horrible ones. So by saying enjoy before every session, they begin already picturing themselves in that state. Also, a random side note here is I definitely wouldn't put this bullet point first. I think the other ones are stronger. And then this one, enhance strength endurance. Now I would change that to experience your untapped endurance. So what are they missing? How can we get them to that desired state where they do have or experience their full potential in terms of endurance? And lastly, mental focus. Now I would change this to feel fully focused. Again, that's a desired state. That's what most of us want to feel every single day. And so what you want to do is go and have a look at the front of your bullet points, those benefits, if you do follow our method, and see where you can turn them into a desired end state. It's not always applicable, but where you can, that's even more emotional and connecting with your customers. And this concept extends to many other areas as well. For example, instead of me saying advanced Amazon FBA training or cutting edge tactics updated weekly or one-on-one professional coaching, I could say, realize your true Amazon FBA potential, confuse your competitors with cutting-edge tactics, and avoid the painful mistakes via your very own sales-verified FBA expert. And those are all closer to a desired end state than just a benefit. Those are also all benefits of our online e-commerce school called Amazon FBA Mastery. We help people from over 150 different countries go from knowing nothing about e-commerce to becoming professional Amazon sellers. If you do like our style and you want to take it to the next level, then do click the link in the pinned comment right below this video, or you can click this box right here and one of our team members will meet with you to see how we can help you achieve your goal. But I do hope that this video provides you more confidence in exactly how to optimize all three of these aspects for your very own listing. I will catch you in one of the next videos.